Rihanna recently gave Hollywood one of its most anticipated performances of the decade, but not everybody seems to agree that she did her time on stage justice. Stick around until the end to find out all the tea. Welcome back to our favorite edition of Where Are They Now? I'm your host Michaela, here to break it all down. Rihanna originated from Barbados and gave us hits for over a decade, including smashers like Work, Umbrella, Pon de Replay, and Diamonds. She knew success from the very start, as she quite literally hit her prime in her youth, and has already sold more than 150 million songs and 41 million albums worldwide, becoming one of the best-selling artists in history. Due to her troubled childhood past, she immersed herself in music and soon discovered her desire to be a professional singer. With the release of her debut album, Rihanna quickly grew into a musical sensation. Her upbeat, head-grooving songs became fan favorites of people near and far, which eventually motivated her to venture into film acting as well. With her stunning looks, youthfulness, and insane talent, Rihanna is still regarded today as a true fashion icon and role model. Through her fame, Rihanna also continues to devote herself to good causes through her direct involvement in charitable causes. So, how did you feel seeing Rihanna back on stage for this year's Super Bowl halftime show? Share your thoughts in the comments and let's jump right in. Born Robin Rihanna Fenty, this Barbadian businesswoman, singer, songwriter, and actress was welcomed into the world on February 20th, 1988. Her parents, accountant Monica Braithwaite, and her father, warehouse supervisor Ronald Fenty, gave birth to the star in St. Michael's, Barbados. Rihanna has mixed ancestry, which is notable in her distinctive features. She is a sibling to two others and three half-siblings. The singer's childhood was particularly rough, as her parents were constantly leaving her in the middle of their feuds and then eventual divorce. Her father was an addict and an alcoholic, but has since overcome his troubled life. Rihanna's education was completed between Broome Memorial Primary School and Combermere High School. Her love for music from a young age allowed her to start singing as early as 7 years old, and she eventually moved on to creating a musical trio with her high school classmates. In 2003, Rihanna was given the opportunity to acquaint herself with American music producer Evan Rogers and gave him a few song performances. At the time, Evan was so impressed by teenage Riri that he invited her to New York to record a couple of demo tapes so they could be sent to record labels, and the rest is history. It wasn't long before Rihanna signed a Def Jam Recordings contract, which later produced her 2005 debut album, Music of the Sun. The album went on to debut at number 10 on Billboard's 200 and sold out more than 2 million copies around the world despite its mixed reviews from critics. Her second album was released the following year, titled A Girl Like Me. Not only did this album brand itself as a huge success commercially, topping charts in 13 whole countries, but it also established young Riri as a teen sensation. One of the singles featured was her timeless track, SOS, which peaked first on Billboard's US Hot 100. After she enjoyed a ton more success in the next months, Rihanna kicked off the Glow in the Dark tour alongside artists including Nerd and Kanye West in 2008. This concert received much critical acclaim and traveled between Europe, Australia, Latin America, New Zealand, and Asia. The year 2009 saw Rihanna drop her heavily awaited album, Rated R, an era which showed off the adoption of a brand new musical style for the artist and was incredibly loved by fans. This album hit number 4 on US's Billboard 200 and included the smash single Rude Boy, which topped and remained on the US Billboard Hot 100 for 6 consecutive weeks. The year 2010 was quite eventful for Rihanna. Her Loud album became a super hit and prompted her Loud tour, which only further promoted its success. Loud has endless hits including S&M, What's My Name featuring Drake, and Only Girl in the World. This was also the year Riri's features were amassing like crazy, as she was featured in tons of fellow artists' hits like Eminem's Love the Way You Lie, Jay-Z's Run This Town, and Kanye West's All of the Lights. Then 2011 rolled around and Rihanna released Talk That Talk, the dance-oriented R&B/pop crossover album that included elements of dubstep, hip-hop, house, and electronic music. The theme of this album consisted of a lustful lover and a moralless romantic. TTT debuted on Billboard's 200 at number 3 and included the titular track, as well as You Da One and Calvin Harris's We Found Love. 2012 saw the release of Unapologetic, an album mainly consisting of R&B and pop songs, which further incorporated reggae, hip-hop, dubstep, and EDM elements. Unapologetic featured 7 hit singles, not limited to Stay and Diamonds. Her most recent full-length album is Anti, released in 2016. 2019. She also put out a single album for Black Panther Wakanda Forever in 2022, with the leading track Lift Me Up. On top of her musical career, Rihanna also appeared in roles in movies such as 2015's Home, 2014's Annie, and 2013's This Is the End. Not to mention, she's also a businesswoman. Right now, she is the co-owner of the music streaming service Tidal, alongside various other musical artists. She also owns 3 triple successful business brands known as Fenty Beauty, Fenty Savage, and Fenty Savage x Fenty. Her unprecedented success was achieved through another era, from the album Good Girl Gone Bad, which included hits Don't Stop the Music and Umbrella. GGGB further debuted on UK's album chart and scored multi-platinum in Canada, Russia, Australia, Brazil, Germany, and Ireland. Some of the star's biggest achievements is her 2006 formation of the Believe Foundation, meant to help terminally ill children. She's a frequent performer for charity concerts and events created to spread awareness about various social issues and to help bring in money to assist those who live underprivileged lives. At this point, Rihanna has helped raise money for cancer research, children in need, and earthquake victims. And that's just what we know of publicly. More so, Rihanna is the recipient of 24 Grammy nominations and dubbed 8 of them so far. Her first recognition came from her Umbrella era in 2008, and she later won several others for Only Girl in the World and Run the Town. For Billboard's Music Awards, she's taken home 14 wins out of 49 noms. These include 2011's Female Artist, 2013's Top Radio Song Artist, and 2006's Pop Artist of the Year. Not to mention, Rihanna is the Guinness World Record holder for 2010's Female Artist with the most US #1 singles in a year, 2011's most consecutive years of UK #1 singles, and 2012's US best-selling digital artist. In her time, Rihanna has also been linked to many famous men in terms of her dating life, with her most infamous being her tumultuous affairs with singer Chris Brown and her heated sparks with Canadian-born rapper Drake. For the former, their relationship gained a ton of media attention due to allegations of Chris physically harming Rihanna while they were together. Today, Riri's doing much better with love and remains with her current partner and father of her kids, A$AP Rocky, who she has been seeing since late 2020, following years of friendship and collaborations. Don't forget to subscribe now if you're a Rihanna fan. Now, let's discuss Riri's performance at the Super Bowl and how it ties into today's video. We know Rihanna's Super Bowl halftime show marked the occasion of many things, of course. Firstly, it was the multi-platinum artist's first public set in 7 years. Secondly, in world history, this was the most watched pregnancy announcement ever. This news was received fairly well from fans and spectators, but of course there will always be naysayers. But lastly, the recent performance ended Rihanna's years-long refusal to take the most prominent music stage due to the NFL's treatment towards Colin Kaepernick. Sounds familiar? Well, back in 2018, the chart-topping singer shot down previous offers to host the halftime performance to show solidarity for Colin, who was a former San Francisco 49ers quarterback remembered best for taking a knee during the NFL game's national anthem performances to raise attention to police brutality and racial injustice, something that was nearing its prime around that year. In 2019, Riri spoke with Vogue for an interview about her decision, stating, "I couldn't dare do that. For what? Who gains from that? Not my people. I just couldn't be a sellout. I couldn't be an enabler." She also added, "There's things within that organization I do not agree with at all, and I was not about to go and be of service to them in any way." So naturally, Rihanna surprised fans when she announced her 2023 headlining for the halftime show, doubling in shock factor due to fans longly and highly awaiting her return to live performances. On the part of her change of heart, Rihanna informed British Vogue of her values of black representation, saying, "There's still a lot of mending to be done in my eyes, but it's powerful to break down those doors and have representation at such a high and consistent level." The award-winning artist then added, "2 Super Bowls back-to-back representing the urban community globally, it sends a really strong message." This was in reference to the previous year's headliners consisting of Mary J. Blige, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Kendrick Lamar, and Eminem. Rihanna also noted that the birth of her son last May allowed her to re-evaluate her priorities. Quote, "Of course, raising a young black man is one of the scariest responsibilities in life. You're like, what am I leaving my kids to? This is the planet they're gonna be living on?" All those things really start to hit differently. In slightly other news, as aforementioned, Rihanna's halftime show revealed her baby bump as the 34-year-old superstar unveiled her expecting news during her stage set. In the air on a platform of the Phoenix Sunday stage, the star was dressed head to toe in a bright red number, allowing her baby bump to shine in a unzipped part of the fit, and resulted in Rihanna becoming the first pregnant woman to star in the Super Bowl's halftime show. For the big reveal, Riri played up the moment well, opening up the show with her rubbing her noticeable stomach. The news was later confirmed that Sunday night via People from one one of her reps, with the source informing, "Everything Rihanna does, she does it her own way on her own timetable, and having a baby is no different." They also added that Rihanna and ASAP were incredibly over the moon about their awaited bundle of joy. The Grammy sweeper and her beau first revealed in January 2020 that they were expecting their first son, later welcoming him in May 2022. Following her baby bump debut of her photographed in New York City, Rihanna gushed to people how excited she was to be a mom and couldn't be happier. During the halftime show, ASAP was captured excitedly supporting Riri on the sidelines, dancing and recording her performance as she sang some of her biggest bangers, including opening the show with "Bitch Better Have My Money" and performing hits like "Umbrella" and "Run This Town." As exciting as the news was, Rihanna, her team, and the halftime crew were extremely careful to not let the joyous celebration leak prior to her performance, as explained by the show's director Hamish Hamilton, who's been the halftime director since 2010. Hamish told Entertainment Tonight that Rihanna was very careful about who knew, and we only knew really at the very latest stages. Her and her team carefully managed that, and we obviously also then carefully managed that. The Rude Boy singer appeared on a 60-foot platform swinging above the field while continuously cradling her baby bump. On Riri's pregnancy, Hamish further detailed, "It's a very, very personal, joyous moment, so it's for her to tell the world." So not only were we obviously mindful of the fact that she was pregnant, but we are also very mindful of this kind of show that hasn't been done before either. Hamish even referred to the show as technically ambitious while describing how the production team carried a huge amount of respect for the endeavor we were taking on, further explaining how they managed to fully prioritize the safety of the pregnant singer and the additional 80 performers with her during their high-flying number. Quote, "There were never any times where we were putting anybody in danger, but there were a lot of times when we needed to stop, evaluate the safety, and then carry on." Of course, in the end, this year's halftime show was a true success, and Rihanna was successfully able to land her pregnancy news. That's been all for today's WATN. Thanks for watching, friends!